2025, we're getting the live-action version of Lilo and Stitch. It's no exaggeration to say this is one of the most anticipated films of the last 10 or maybe even 20 years. But did you know there's a strong chance Lilo might meet and even introduce the real-life Moana to the world? You might not realize this, but Lilo and Stitch has a history of hosting special appearances from other Disney characters on the island of Kauai, the setting for the entire story. One example is from the TV series Lilo and Stitch, the series. After the film's massive success in 2002, Disney didn't waste time creating a spin-off show. Just a year later, fans were treated to more adventures in a 2-season series. The story picks up where the movie left off, revealing that Experiment 626, better known as Stitch, wasn't the only superpowered creature created by the scientist Jumba-Jookiba. Many of these experiments are scattered across Hawaii. In one episode, Lilo's family meets Jake Long, the American Dragon. For those unfamiliar, Jake is the protagonist of another popular Disney show from the era, where a boy transforms into a dragon. Kim Possible also made an appearance, a teenage secret agent from another beloved Disney show. So if you think it's far-fetched for Moana to appear in a Lilo and Stitch movie, think again. It actually makes more sense than you might expect, especially since their islands are geographically close in the Pacific. You can already tell today's video is packed with theories, right? Grab your popcorn, because it's time for another episode of Cinewave. Why are fans so confident that Lilo and Stitch will be the movie to confirm the Disney theory and kick off a new era? It's simple. Just look at the latest trailer. Let's take a very close look at the details. Disney always drops hints about its future in films and trailers, and this latest one is no exception. But let's break it down slowly. You know how every Disney movie starts with the iconic castle, right? Here's what the current intro looks like. Now, Disney divides its history into distinct eras. For instance, the Frozen release era, spanning 2010 to 2019, is called the Revival era. Meanwhile, the era of Lilo and Stitch is known as the Post-Renaissance. Check out how the Disney Castle intro looked when Lilo and Stitch premiered in 2002. For the first time, the Disney Castle disappeared from the screen. It was abducted. Now, look at the Lilo and Stitch live-action trailer. In the trailer, Stitch literally destroys a sandcastle version of the Disney Castle. This could be a major hint that Disney's current era is coming to an end, and that this movie will usher in something completely new. The most logical connection between the two films is that both Lilo, from the island of Kauai, and Moana, from the island of Motunui, are Polynesian. This means that Lilo's community believes in gods like Maui and Te Fiti. Both islands are located in the same region, and their spoken languages are very similar. If you compare Lilo and Moana's appearances, you'll notice striking similarities between the two. Another connection, often overlooked, is through David, the surfer who's Lilo's older sister Nani's love interest. He wears a necklace that references Maui's magical fishhook. Now, let's start diving into the theory. What if these two stories aren't separate, but are part of something bigger? Could Disney be building a shared universe? If you've seen the 2002 Lilo and Stitch movie, you'll remember that the Hawaiian girl Lilo has an important ritual involving the ocean. She needs to feed a fish named Pudge. In fact, her first appearance in the movie shows her doing just that. The film opens with an orange fish holding a sandwich in its mouth as Lilo swims nearby. And you know exactly who this orange fish really is, right? No, it's not Nemo's dad, it's Maui. This actually makes a lot of sense. Let's look at the facts. When Lilo shows up late to her hula class, she explains that she was delayed because she needed to buy peanut butter, make a sandwich, and feed it to the fish. When the teacher asks why this is so important, Lilo answers that Pudge controls the weather. Wait a second, a fish in Hawaii that controls the weather? It has to be Maui. We know Maui can shapeshift into animals, including small fish, and that he controls the winds and seasons. This would also explain why Lilo wasn't fazed by the discovery that Stitch is an alien. She's clearly seen extraordinary things before. When Lilo first sees Stitch and assumes he's a dog, she tells everyone that he can talk, which is why she adopts him. No one believes her, but why does she react so calmly to this? If she thinks it's normal for a dog to talk, it's probably because she's already seen a fish do the same. The theory suggests that Maui continues to protect Moana's descendants even many years after her adventures. This could mean that Lilo and Nani are not just distant relatives of Moana, but directly connected to her lineage. But we'll get more into that later, so stay tuned. And what about you? Do you know any sea creatures with powers, or are you secretly hiding an alien in your basement? Comment with #alien so we can uncover your secret. In Moana, there's a place in the Pacific Ocean where monsters live called Lalotai. We believe this could be the perfect location to hide Jumba's experiments. As we've already explained, Disney has a history of introducing characters from other shows into Lilo and Stitch. Take Jake Long, the American Dragon for example, a series all about magical creatures. This proves that for over 20 years, the Lilo and Stitch universe has been connected to magical realms, not just aliens. In the Lilo and Stitch series, Jumba's experiments land on Earth and are captured by Lilo's team. But where else could these creatures be hiding? Of course, Lalotai. In the live-action movie set to release on May 23, 2025, we might visit this mysterious place and discover that the monster realm is actually Jumba's lab for creating experiments. Think this theory doesn't make sense? Let's break it down. First, why don't the monsters from Lalotai go around attacking Polynesian islands? Answer: it's the water. The density of the ocean prevents them from escaping. And what does this have to do with Jumba Jukiba? In the Lilo and Stitch universe, seawater is precisely the weakness of Jumba's creations. Coincidence? We think not. Now let's discuss a connection between the films that's a bit more imaginative, but offers a glimpse into how Disney's artistic vision works. Moana and her younger sister Samea bear an uncanny resemblance to Nani and Lilo. It's almost as if Disney is subtly suggesting they're part of the same family. And don't be fooled, Disney does this all the time. Remember when Rapunzel appeared in Frozen? Or when a mermaid, who could only be Ariel's mother, showed up in Peter Pan? Speaking of which, did you know that Ariel from The Little Mermaid is actually Hercules' cousin? That's because Ariel's father, King Triton, is one of Poseidon's sons, making him a brother to Zeus, Hercules' father. This type of connection extends to other princesses too. For instance, Jane from Tarzan is clearly a descendant of Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Proof? The enchanted dinnerware from Belle's castle appears in Tarzan. Plus, Belle and Jane look nearly identical, as do their fathers. Now, as for Lilo and Moana, their connection seems plausible because Lilo's people could be descendants of the Polynesian navigators who settled the Hawaiian Islands, likely the Motunui. It's worth noting that this potential connection is ancient, as Moana takes place long before the events of Lilo and Stitch. One more thing, in Moana, there's a nod to the Little Mermaid when Tamatoa mentions a crab with a Hawaiian accent, a clear reference to Sebastian. And to keep your long-standing connection with the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. The Lilo and Stitch live-action movie premieres in May 2025, but on July 10, 2026, we'll get to see the live-action adaptation of Moana starring Dwayne Johnson The Rock as Maui. There's a reason Disney is turning its films into live-action adaptations now. It's almost certain that starting next year, Mickey's World will bring back its classic movies to create a shared universe. Thanks to Marvel, the multiverse concept is now commonplace in the film industry. This is significant because fans have been speculating for years about the famous Disney theory, which connects the characters across films. The familial ties we just discussed are a part of this theory, and it's high time it's confirmed on the big screen. Imagine this. At the end of the Lilo and Stitch movie in 2025, we get a post-credits scene where Pudge transforms into a tattooed The Rock, revealing he's been Maui all along. This isn't far-fetched because images of The Rock dressed as Maui have been popping up all over the media. Sure, it's to promote the Moana live-action movie, but that film isn't due until 2026. So why reveal so much of him when 2025 hasn't even begun? Our theory is that Maui will make an appearance in another movie first, Lilo and Stitch. He could present a futuristic Hawaii and possibly have a connection with either Pudge or David, who wears a necklace in honor of Maui. There's even the perfect scene for the demigod to make his entrance in Lilo and Stitch. In the animated movie, when Stitch is drowning, it's David who saves him, and he's wearing the Maui necklace. Now imagine that in the live-action adaptation. It's not David, but Maui who saves Stitch. This could mark the beginning of a live-action multiverse of Disney's classic films. Could Lilo and Stitch be the movie that kicks off this new era? That would be incredible, because it means we're all witnessing the beginning of a new chapter for Disney. The older generations had their moment, and with this theory coming true, fans will get to enjoy everything Disney has built over the past 20 years, but now in a completely fresh and exciting way. We're sure that with this new movie, you'll understand why Mickey's World is so special. So tell us, are you excited too?
I'm curious.
We'll have to wait and see what happens, but it's clear that next year is packed with exciting plans for Disney. Until then, we hope you stick with us. We picked out 2 more videos for you to watch, so see you in the next one.